Welcome to Loren Reads to You. Today we're reading The Bedtime Killer by Loren Malloy. That's me. So make sure you're following or subscribing wherever you're watching or listening to this. And if you haven't heard or watched chapters 1 through 32 and you'd like to, make sure you pause and save this, watch or listen to those, and then come back. This will be here for you. Otherwise, if you're ready, get comfortable, get cozy, and let's get into this. Chapter 33. Horace remembered for several weeks how he spent their scheduled days landscaping her property and many nights in her rooms. Horace always thought he'd be satisfied with just watching his lady. It just never lasted. For a while, he would be satisfied with just watching her and from enjoying her panties. But the same thing always happened. Little Horace would get bored. After the third time it had happened to him, he knew it just wasn't working anymore. Horace knew it was time to bring their relationship to a more intimate level. Horace had been sure Dee Dee's husband was going to cause problems for him, but when he saw the sketch the husband had the police put on the news, it looked nothing like him. Turns out old Edward Daring needed glasses in the worst way. Horace also thought it would have changed the security of Dee Dee's home, and yet not much was done. And all the police were wrapped up in the detective's death to be focused on surveillance, which would make Horace extremely happy. And it did. Horace was so happy he was able to continue his dates uninterrupted. One night after Horace was sure she was sound asleep, he opened her window and slid into her bedroom as he always does. He went and gingerly sat down on the armchair near the bed. The smell of whiskey and her soft jasmine body lotion wafted through the air, assaulting his ever sense. He had spent several weeks completely at ease in the darkness of her room, watching her sleep from that same armchair. Horace had planned to be content with sitting in dear Dee Dee's room watching her sleep for a bit longer, except for that damn sneeze. Out of nowhere, Horace sneezed so loudly it woke his lovely lady from her sleeping pill-induced slumber. Dee Dee sat straight up in her bed and called out, "Who's there?" Sleep still stuck in her throat. All she got was silence for an answer. "Hello? Is someone there? Edward!" Horace was furious. He woke his lovely lady while they were sharing a beautiful moment. He wasn't able to finish what he wanted to do to set the mood, and now they had to rush their relationship further and sooner than he wished. Damn. Dee Dee was still sitting up, peering into the darkness in search of what woke her. Horace's eyes were completely adjusted to the darkness, and he could see the fear building in Dee Dee's eyes. Little Horace gave a hard twitch at seeing her reaction. From the pitch-black corner he was sitting in, he whispered, "It's me, my lady. Don't you recognize the man of your dreams?" He chuckled, which was a sick, evil sound. Dee Dee's eyes were wider now. The fear was clearly written on her face. She fumbled with the sheet, trying to cover herself. "No need for modesty with me, dear Dee Dee. We've spent many a beautiful erotic night together, so you don't have to play that prudish game with me, baby. You've already shown me on more than one occasion every inch of your sumptuous body. It's very beautiful. There's no need to hide it from me now that we've become so close. I don't know who you are or what the fuck you're talking about, but I demand you get the fuck out of my house, you fucking piece of filth. When my husband finds out what you've been doing, you'll be locked up for the rest of your miserable, pathetic life. Now, get the fuck out of my house, or so help me God!" And with that last show of bravery and bravado, Delia turned on her light. Horace locked eyes with Dee Dee and just smiled. His pants were still open, and he was still holding little Horace in one hand. He sighed and calmly put little Horace away, zipped his pants, and then locked eyes with his lovely lady once again. Disgust and pure fear were clearly plastered on her beautiful face. "You shouldn't have turned the light on. I thought you knew better. Now that means, unfortunately, it's bedtime, baby." Then in one fluid moment, Horace stood up, grabbed the frosted glass ashtray on the bedside nightstand, and smashed it into the side of Dee Dee's head. Dee Dee groaned from the pain and impact of the ashtray breaking with such force against her temple. Bits of glass were embedded in the side of her head. Blood trickled down the side of her face and dripped into her mouth. Horace smelled the blood and started laughing with frenzied glee. The rush of adrenaline, joy, and peace he always got from this part caused such an unexplainable high. He cherished each second of it. His ladies were so good to give up their lives just to bring him such happiness and such satisfaction. He then looked down at her and ripped off her sheer sheet to show all of her luscious body to his loving eyes. Dee Dee whimpered and moaned in pain. He was about to caress the object he longed to touch for so long when, bam! He saw a flash of light, and then searing pain flew through his head. His hearing became just white noise for many moments. Black and white fuzzy static was all he could see. He shook his head and realized he was on all fours on the carpeted floor of Dee Dee's bedroom. She had bashed the lamp over his fucking head. How dare she ruin what could and would have been such a perfect moment for them? He roared with rage and wiped the blood trickling down his own face now. When he looked up, Dee Dee was not in the bedroom any longer. It took a few moments for him to start seeing and hearing properly again. Horace shook his head several times, hoping to clear it up quicker while still clinging to the bedroom carpet. Dee Dee's voice started streaming into his hearing once more. She was screaming for help at the top of her lungs. Damn that fucking bitch. She will ruin everything. He could see her now. Delilah was stumbling, holding her head, staggering down her long hallway. Horace roared, "Damn you, bitch! You're dead!" That was chapter 33 of The Bedtime Killer by Loren Malloy. That's me. Make sure you're following or subscribing wherever you're watching or listening to this. And if you'd like to get this book for yourself, make sure that you check it out on Amazon. It's available in paperback and Kindle. And I'll see you for chapter 34.